Everyone says if he's not calling or texting you, it's because he's not interested. But that's not the truth. It's just the easy story we tell ourselves to avoid deeper reflection. A man's silence is rarely that simple. It's not random. It's not meaningless. It's a signal, a mirror showing both what's happening inside him and what awakens inside you. Let's be honest. When he doesn't reach out, your mind doesn't stay quiet. You check your phone, replay old messages, analyze every emoji, every pause. You start wondering what you did wrong. But the real problem isn't that you can't read the signs, it's that you were taught to misread them. You were told love means constant contact, that attention equals affection, that silence equals rejection. But those beliefs have stolen your peace and made you chase clarity where you should be protecting your energy. Here's what no one told you. His silence doesn't define your worth. It defines his state. What it reveals about you, your triggers, your patience, your power, is the real lesson. As Carl Jung says, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. And by the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly what to do when he doesn't reach out without losing your center, your peace, or your personal power. This might sound a little harsh, but it's something you need to hear. Sometimes silence isn't just absence. It's a quiet test. It's a subconscious way of watching how you'll react when he pulls back. Most men don't do it to manipulate you. It's not always intentional, but here's the part that stings. It usually works. Have you ever sent one of those soft check-in messages after he's gone quiet? Hey, how are you? Just wondering if everything's okay. You tell yourself it's casual, but underneath you're hoping for reassurance. You start explaining why you didn't text first, filling the silence just to feel connection again. And what you don't realize is that in those moments he's seeing exactly what he wanted to see. That his attention still defines your peace. That's what truly breaks my heart. I've seen brilliant, capable, strong women. Women who build businesses, raise families, overcome impossible things, completely lose their center when a man stops replying. They become smaller versions of themselves, doubting their worth because someone didn't answer a message. Sometimes men, whether they mean to or not, step back just to see if you'll chase. And when your world tilts in their absence, when you start needing them to feel okay, it becomes a silent psychological experiment. Your reaction tells them exactly how much power they have over you. Here's what no one tells you. Every time you panic at the silence, every time you shrink or overthink because he's distant, you hand away power that was never his to hold. You teach him that he can control your emotions without even being present. But here's where everything changes. Stoic philosophy reminds us that your value isn't measured by who calls you or texts you. It's revealed by how grounded you remain when they don't. A woman who stays calm in the quiet, who keeps living, creating, laughing, loving her life, is magnetic in a way that can't be imitated. And when he eventually reappears, because most do, he finds something unexpected. A woman who never paused her world for him. Someone busy, inspired, alive. Someone he has to catch up to. And believe me, that difference hits immediately. Now let's be honest about something that might hurt before it heals. Sometimes his silence isn't manipulation. It's not punishment. It's not even about you. He might simply be focused on his goals, his family, or his own inner world. Many men are wired to compartmentalize, to dive so deeply into one mission that everything else fades for a while. That's not coldness, it's how they process life. So while you're carving out space in your day to reach out, he might be buried in work or solving something internal. That can feel lonely and unfair, especially when you have time, energy, and love to give. But here's the revelation that changes everything. His silence is an invitation, not to chase him, but to return to yourself. A signal from the universe saying, while he's in his world, build yours. Ask yourself, when was the last time you got so lost in your own passions that you forgot to check your phone? When was the last time you woke up excited about your plans, not his replies? Those questions can be uncomfortable, but they're sacred mirrors. They show how much of your joy you've placed in someone else's hands. You were never meant to orbit another person's life. You are a whole universe, with dreams, goals, people who love you, and a purpose that goes far beyond a message thread. So while he's silent, use that space to hear your own voice again. And when you truly do that, when your focus shifts back to your own growth, your own projects, your own light, something extraordinary happens. A woman who stayed in motion, who became even more interesting, more radiant, and more alive. This is the part that most people try to avoid. But if you're brave enough to face it, it'll set you free. Sometimes silence really does mean disinterest. It stings, but it's also clarity. And the faster you accept that truth, the faster you stop wasting your light trying to relight something that was never meant to burn. Here's what I've seen over the years. It's not rejection that destroys us, it's attachment. Attachment to a fantasy, to who we thought someone could become. And that's what keeps us stuck. Do you know what separates the woman who stays trapped in heartbreak from the one who heals quickly? It's not strength. It's perspective. The one who heals understands this simple truth. If someone walks away, they're not taking your worth with them. They're just making room for what's actually aligned with you. She doesn't beg. She doesn't chase. She doesn't exhaust herself trying to make someone love her harder. Because real love doesn't demand proof. It flows where it's meant to go. If you have to perform to keep it, it's not love. It's fear. And let me tell you something that might sound controversial, but is a truth you need to hear. When a man loses interest without reason, when he disappears instead of communicating, when he lacks the courage to be honest with you, he's not punishing you. He's protecting you without even realizing it, because he's revealing the truth now before you give more of your time, your energy, your heart. He's showing you exactly who he is, how he handles pressure, how he processes emotion, how he values communication. And if what he's showing you is silence, avoidance, or emotional immaturity, ask yourself honestly, is that really someone I want to build a life with? The universe has its own strange way of protecting us. Sometimes protection doesn't look like a yes. It looks like nothing. Sometimes silence is the message, because in that empty space, everything you need to know about him becomes obvious. Here's what happens when you shift your perspective on this. You stop asking, what did I do wrong? You start asking, well, what does this reveal about him? That shift, from self-blame to observation, that's where your power returns. But let's stay grounded in reality too. Not every man who goes silent is a villain. Some are just unequipped, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. They were never taught how to express what they feel. They grew up hearing that vulnerability is weakness, that real men stay strong and quiet. So when life overwhelms them, they withdraw, not to punish, but to survive. And this is where Stoicism brings the lesson home. Don't carry what isn't yours. His silence, his struggles, his lack of communication. Those are his to resolve. You don't have to translate every pause into rejection. Sometimes his silence says more about his own chaos than about your value. He could be anxious and not know how to name it. He might be dealing with depression and hiding it behind work or distraction. He could be buried in financial stress or self-doubt and pulling away because he feels unworthy. All of those things can be true, and this is key. Understanding them doesn't mean you must accept them forever. Compassion does not mean self-abandonment. Empathy doesn't mean erasing your needs to accommodate someone else's limitations. Your responsibility is to decide, Can you truly thrive with someone who handles emotion that way? Can you live with that level of distance without losing your peace? Because understanding someone doesn't require you to stay. This might be the most important part of the entire message. Silence has a strange kind of power. It removes every distraction and leaves you face to face with the only person who truly matters, yourself. And that's where the real question begins. Who are you when he doesn't respond? That question can feel brutal, but it's the one that reveals everything. Because silence doesn't just show you who he is, it shows you who you become in his absence. Do you crumble the moment you don't hear from him? Do you start doubting your worth, replaying every text, every word, trying to find where you messed up? Or do you meet a woman who stands tall, who stays centered, who remembers that her value never depended on anyone's reply? That answer defines everything. It shapes the kind of relationships you attract, the kind of energy you hold, the kind of life you live. Because there's a huge difference between a woman who lives for attention and a woman who lives from her own center. One loses herself in silence, the other blossoms inside it. And here's the beautiful truth. Women who are deeply grounded rarely experience long silences. Men can feel that energy. They sense when a woman isn't desperate for validation, when her world doesn't collapse without attention. She's full, radiant, alive, not because someone sees her, but because she sees herself. That kind of energy is magnetic. It's not born from need, but from wholeness. The real battlefield of Stoicism isn't about mastering other people, it's about mastering yourself. Your reactions, your inner storm, your thoughts. Because once you become your own source of peace and joy, someone else's silence stops being a threat. It becomes an opportunity, a mirror, a teacher, a moment of awakening. But getting there isn't easy. It takes real inner work, the kind that doesn't look pretty on camera. It means facing the parts of you that still crave validation. It means sitting with your insecurities instead of running from them. It means building a relationship with yourself that feels so safe, so steady, you don't chase safety anywhere else. Women often ask me, how do I stop caring when he doesn't reach out? And I always say, it's not about not caring. It's about caring more about your peace than about his attention. It's about creating a life so rich, so meaningful that his silence can't empty it. When your world is full of purpose, when your days are busy with what makes you feel alive, you stop waiting for a message to feel complete. You realize your joy isn't borrowed, it's self-made. When a woman truly builds that kind of inner strength, it doesn't just change her relationship with men. It changes everything. She negotiates differently at work. She sets boundaries with her family. She attracts friendships that nourish her instead of draining her. Because the same energy that keeps you calm when he goes quiet is the same energy that helps you thrive everywhere else in life. Now that you understand all of this, here's the question that really matters. What are you going to do with it? How will you apply it to your real life? Because understanding is only the first step. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. But when you act differently, when you live this truth, that's when your power comes back. So the next time he doesn't reach out, pause. Don't grab your phone. Don't send that little "hey, just checking in" text. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Not what do I need from him, but on what do I need from me? Maybe you need a walk. Maybe you need music, movement, sunlight. Maybe you need to call a friend or dive into that project you've been putting off. Whatever it is, and give it to yourself, because here's the magic. When you start meeting your own needs, you stop needing others to do it for you. When you become your own source of care, your own source of attention, your own validation, you naturally attract people who treat you with the same respect. His silence is not a command to chase him. It's an invitation to return to yourself. Every time you stay calm when he disappears, you strengthen your center. Every time you stay present in your own life, instead of vanishing into anxiety, you build something sacred, something no one can take from you, your personal power. And that power isn't about winning someone back. It's about living better, sleeping peacefully, waking up excited for your day, making choices from clarity instead of fear. And when women reach that place, everything shifts. They stop explaining themselves to men who don't listen. They stop making excuses for people who won't show up. They stop settling for crumbs when they deserve the feast. And that's the moment of real freedom. Because the moment you stop chasing someone who doesn't look for you, you create space for someone who will. When you stop pouring your energy into one-sided love, that energy stays with you, and you use it to build something extraordinary. And here's a truth I want you to keep close. The woman who holds her ground, without begging, without chasing, without losing herself, is the woman no one forgets. Not because she's hard to get, but because she's impossible to replace. You can't imitate that kind of energy. It's not strategy. It's authenticity. It's born from years of inner work, from learning to value yourself without waiting for permission. When a woman knows her worth, when she doesn't panic for attention, when she feels whole on her own, she radiates something people can feel without words. She attracts from calm, not from chaos, from fullness, not from need. Not every woman reaches this point at the same time, and that's okay. Some have to walk through heartbreak to get here. Others wake up to it faster. What matters isn't when you get there. It's that you choose to keep walking. His silence might be a test, a distraction, or simply disinterest. But your reaction to that silence, that is what defines you. You can let it weaken you, or you can let it refine you. Because the women who learn to turn pain into power, who use challenge as a classroom, who meet silence with self-trust, those women become unstoppable, not just in love, in everything. Because the same strength that keeps you calm in uncertainty is the same strength that helps you rise in life. It's the power to not take things personally, to hold your worth steady no matter what someone else does, to keep moving toward your goals, regardless of who reaches out or who doesn't. That is real freedom. That is real love, the kind that starts within you. So next time he doesn't reach out, instead of waiting for him, find yourself again. Instead of chasing him, build a life so full, so magnetic that if he ever comes back, it's not because you begged. It's because he's drawn to the energy of a woman who's alive in her own story. Don't ask, why isn't he texting me? Ask, what can I create today? Instead of checking your phone 100 times, check your dreams, check your goals, check the version of you that's still waiting to be born. Because at the end of the day, this isn't about decoding men, it's about building an inner world so strong, so rich, so grounded in purpose that no one's silence can shake it. A life so full of joy, passion, and direction that no person's absence could ever drain it. You become so whole on your own that anyone who walks into your life is an addition, never a requirement. And no, that doesn't mean closing your heart. It's the opposite. It means loving from overflow, not emptiness. It means giving because you want to, not because you're starving to be loved back. It means showing up as your best self, not to earn love, but to express it. When you reach that point, when your energy is steady, your joy self-made, your worth unquestioned, you realize something powerful. The strength you were looking for was never in anyone else. It was always within you, you just forgot. And now, you remember. And I want to know, which part of this message hit home for you? Have you lived through this kind of silence? Have you recognized yourself somewhere in these words? Share it in the comments because your story might be the light someone else needs tonight. Don't be afraid to be real. Every one of us has lost our power at some point. The difference is some of us decide to take it back. Remember this: you were born to be your own priority. You weren't made to beg for love. You were made to radiate it. Your power isn't in the hands of someone who calls or doesn't. It's in your own hands, always has been. So use it with intention. Use it to build, to create, to love, to grow. And if this message helped you see silence through a new lens, if it helped you hold on to your peace a little tighter, tap like, share it with a friend who needs to hear it.